A very good evening to you all. Welcome to yet another episode of the Uganda Parliamentary Coffee Forum. I'm your host, Emma Mnyangeri, and I'm presenting to you this show live in the comfort of your living room, of your study, of your vehicle, wherever you are, you can catch us live. Remember to follow us on our social media handles, that is Facebook, YouTube, uh, and TikTok. My guest today will be looking at the value addition. We're adding more from the last week's episode, and we're still discussing about the value addition. And my guest is from African Blends Coffee. Ladies and gentlemen, without wasting any of your second, let's go direct into the conversation. You're welcome on the show.
Thank you, Emma.
Good to have you on the Uganda Parliamentary Coffee Forum.
Good to have you too, and thanks for having me on the show.
Tell us
On the forum.
about African Blends Coffee.
Well, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Eric Ekaju. Once again, I'm a director at African Blends Coffee. We are a coffee company. I would like to call ourselves part of the SME coffee business that we have in this country. And African Blends Coffee was registered as a business around 2018, 19, around about that. So we've been in business for close to about 7 years. So what we do basically is source coffee, process it, then we sell it to our various clienteles across the country. So that's a little bit about African Blends Coffee. Yes.
Oh, well, well. How best can you define the word value addition?
Wow, it's a huge word, value addition. Generally, value addition will be defined as the process of enhancing or increasing worth on a product or service, giving it usefulness, enhancing its quality before it's being taken to the final consumer. Yeah.
Okay. And does value addition always mean higher profit, or it can mean higher risk or loss?
Well, value addition does not necessarily mean or lead to higher profit, in as much as that is supposed to be the goal. Yeah, but then there are also other downsides to value addition. I would just like to talk about the bits of the profitability, which most of us actually are more interested in. Yes, we have agreed it leads to profitability, but not necessarily higher profitability. So on the bits of the higher profitability, value addition can create a product that clients are willing to pay for more because the product is improved. Also, when value has been attached to a product, it gains a competitive advantage as compared to any that has not been given any addition in terms of value. But I would like to talk about the downsides of value addition. The very first one is sometimes before, when you're doing the process of value addition, there are costs such as processing, packaging, branding, and those can be actually very high, And others, you have to go as far as getting equipment, storage, transportations, and cost increase, and all of them require money. So at the end of the day, if you're factoring in all these aspects of value addition, you may end up making a loss. So it's not necessarily a win-win situation. So there's a bit of risk, and there's also a bit of loss in value addition. Thank you.
When you say value addition in coffee,
Yeah.
what does that actually mean on the ground versus in marketing?
On ground, it basically it means increasing value captured on growing the coffee itself. From the time you have planted the coffee, you've looked after it, and now it is time, it has flowered, and after flowering, it is now bring the fruit. Then when the fruits have ripened and they're now the red cherries, pulling out the red cherries and taking them to the next process, that is on the ground. Then the bit of the marketing aspect has to do with uh, the processing, and it has to do with uh, the value chain. In as much as you're doing value addition, there's also something called the value chain. The whole process of it having to be picked from the farmer by the farmer, taking the red cherry, then processing it, red cherry being put to fermentation processes, from the fermentation processes being dried. From being dried, it is hulled. Then from hulling, it is being roasted. Uh, Roasted, then it's being packaged and branded, then sold to the final consumer. So the value chain has to do with the marketing aspect. Yeah.
How can a coffee farmer boost his earnings through value addition?
Well, the very first thing is quality. It's a very key thing in terms of our productivity in coffee. Once your quality is guaranteed, then it's one of the genesis of improving the earnings. So when you improve the quality, for example, when you're harvesting, there are different types of harvesting. Some people use strips, others hand pick and all that. But when you make sure every bit of the processes of producing coffee is looked at, is taken into consideration, from picking of the red cherries and the ripe ones to the processing types, which machines are you using. If you're using a pulper, how nice, how clean, how good is this pulping machine? When you're drying it, how nice, what processes are you using for drying? Are the equipment that you're using controlled? Are they clean? Are they organized? So that at the end of it all, the quality is guaranteed for the final consumer. That is one. Then two, I think farmers can also take into action the processing types, processing their coffee. Instead of you harvesting the red cherries and just selling them off to some other person who is going to process it, how about you as a farmer process this coffee, ferment it, pulp it. After pulping it, take it, ferment it, then also dry it. After drying it, have it hulled. After it has been hulled, grade it. It would actually fetch much more, money if you did that, because if for example, you're just selling the red cherries, a kilo could go for about 5,000 shillings. But if you're selling green beans that are already graded, a kilo could fetch you up to about between 20,000 to about 35,000 shillings. So that means the value has actually gone about 4 to 5 times higher. So that is one way, or that's the second way farmers can increase or boost their coffee production. Then they can also roast and package. Yeah, instead of
The farmer themselves.
yes, the farmers can actually roast the packet and package their own coffee, or also sell directly to buyers.
Okay.
You know someone who actually processes the coffee, so to cut out the middleman who is going to want to of course make off money, which is understandable. Just sell directly to the buyers. Yeah.
You mentioned about the quality of the coffee, and how do you determine the good quality? I've heard some of the farmers who talk about the kinds of fertilizers they use on their land,
Yeah.
that some are not good, some are bad, some are good.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
My take on it is yes, they are good and bad fertilizers,
Okay.
but it all boils down to knowledge. You need to know where to find the good fertilizer, and to build quality, there's something called specialty in coffee. So specialty is basically the process it takes from the time coffee is planted to the time it gets to the cup. When you plant that seedling, growing, the seedling flowering, the seedling making the cherries, them being ripe, you harvesting them, you doing the post-harvest handling, you grading until the final consumer. That is how quality is controlled. So all those processes have to be checked, you know, and they actually determine the good quality coffee. So should there be an error, should there be any mishandling in the process from the time the coffee is planted to the time it is being consumed in the cup, there will be an error in the quality of the coffee. But if it's flawlessly handled, you will guarantee good quality. Yes.
Where in the coffee chain do you see the biggest opportunity for value addition? Is it in the farm? Is it in the processing? Is it in the roasting, or the packaging, or the branding?
I think the biggest opportunity is in the farming and processing. Yes, because not everyone actually does want to purchase coffee that is already roasted. So if you've farmed your coffee properly, you've been subjecting your coffee to the best agricultural practices, you've been giving it the best manure, you've been taking care of your plants. Um, when you harvest it, you also do the processing until you eventually achieve the green bean that is graded. For example, in Arabica, there is double A, there is AB, and there is CPB. At the end of it all, when you've achieved the double A, you've achieved the green beans, um, you're going to directly be interfaced by buyers who are going to come directly to you. And the prices will have gone so much high, close to roasted coffee. So I would still say farming and processing is where the opportunity is at. Yes. Yeah.
These dried coffee beans,
Yeah.
I've had so many people who can use these beans
Yeah.
to make thousand flavors.
Yeah.
So, which seeds are best for making such flavors? Are they the dried seeds,
Um,
the dried beans?
well, the flavor is actually not determined by the farmer or any other person. It's the soils and
The soils.
yes, and the origin of the coffee. If it's in Bugisu and the area is rich in a certain minerals, you find out the coffee. If you're making notes, because in specialty you're supposed to make notes, you're supposed to cup the coffee to ascertain the notes in it. Is it having almonds? Is it having chocolate? Is it having citrus fruits? Is it having um, cardamom? Or is it phenolic and having a little bit of chemical in terms of taste? So it's very interesting. Coffee is a very interesting thing and a product that everyone, I think, should really acquaint themselves with, because there's so much to it in terms of taste. There's something called the coffee test as well. If you happen to go through it, you'll actually realize that there are over hundreds of flavors that are in coffee. But all of it boils down to the soils, the handling processes, and what you grow with the coffee. Yeah, because coffee is very sensitive. It can actually capture the constituents of what is in what is in the environment. If you're growing it with some other crop, it can somehow capture how that crop tastes or something like that. So at the end of it all, you you able to achieve the good notes boils down to drills down to the best agricultural practices that you subject your coffee to. Yeah.
Speaking of the soils that we have, which region produces the best coffee here in Uganda?
Idea the initial region that has stood out over time is the Bugisu region.
This region.
Yes, but lately other regions are actually starting to score because practices are changing. Awareness is coming through. People are getting to educate themselves about the whole coffee thing. So they're subjecting themselves to good farming practices. Rwenzori is now coming up. Chigezi is coming. Also West Nile is coming up. We have the districts of Iba and quite a number of places are now getting to produce good quality coffee away from the traditional areas that were marked as sources of quality coffee in the country. Yeah.
What's one simple value addition a farmer can use that does not involve big investment or using machines?
I think selective picking of the coffee, because that really improves the quality of the coffee cherries that you pick, because we've seen people harvesting. There's something called strip picking. You basically go to the plant and pull out everything, whether the coffee is 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 is, is spoiled, whether it is not ripe, whether it is ripe, whether it's good or bad. Um, that brings in a whole mix of, good or bad coffee in one place. So you find at the end of the day you've mixed all the bad coffee in one thing, and at the end of it all you're tempted to process it, then also sell it to your buyers. But if you use the selective picking, you're going to only pick ripe cherries that that have the good flavors, the good everything that quality coffee would have. So yes, it is not costly and it's also effective. I know most people wouldn't want to use the selective picking of the cherries because it is time consuming. But at the end of it all, if you want to get good results, it is something that is recommendable. Yes.
Looking at the raw cherry beans and the roasted beans and uh, the branded coffee, what's the difference in the income for the farmer?
Come again, come again.
If you look at the cherry beans, the raw cherry beans,
Yes.
and the branded coffee and the roasted beans,
Yeah.
which one a farmer gains more as in terms of income?
Yeah, I think the roasted beans actually earn 5 to 10 times much higher than the cherries. So I would definitely take the side of roasting the beans, because the earnings are way more
The
than,
earnings are way more.
yeah.
And can a farmer involve himself directly into the roasting of the beans?
Yeah, they can.
What do they use in roasting those beans?
There are different types of roasting processes. Of course, there are traditional roasting processes where you have to just get a pan and put the coffee there, but that is not sustainable, and it's not good for volumes. That is basically fit for home consumptions. But for farmers to be able to take part in the roasting of the coffee, there's got to be an involvement of resources, which is finances. Because the reason that's why most farmers actually sell their coffee at the level of red cherries is because they do not have the resources to be able to go through these tiring processes of having the coffee, cleaned up to attain the quality that is supposed to be roasted, or even any other quality that would be deemed an export grade or something that people would put in their money to buy with intention. Yeah.
How much value does origin branding add in terms of made in versus grow in?
Okay. Grown in is good, but the production reality is most people prefer the branding bit. I would like to give two scenarios. For example, if the coffee of Uganda is out there and they're saying it is grown in Uganda, um, from the Elgon area, or Rwenzori, or any other place, most people wouldn't want to pick interest in it. But when you say made in, there's a perceived identity. You know, made in drills down to the details. For example, the Wugisu double A type, grown in the volcanic soils of Mount Elgon. Then the Renzori, high altitude, and maybe single form natural processed. You know, most people want to attach value to the story. The volcanic soils, the Bugisu area, the high altitude of Renzori. So that fetches the made in is given more or accorded more value than the grown in. Yeah.
If you to look at the packaging and the certifications, which one actually makes consumers pay more?
Um, I feel like the rest is they're literally market gimmicks, but the story plus the quality perception actually sells more as compared to certification as compared to packaging.
The story.
Yes, the story and the quality of the coffee. So when you attach the story to the quality, that is going to sell. Imagine someone telling you about the high altitude of Rwenzori, the types of the soils that are in the Rwenzori area, and the farming practices, how the people down there go about ensuring that the tree is given the utmost attention from the time it is planted to the time it is it has produced red cherries. That alone is going to capture someone's mind. But on top of that, if still that story rhymes or resonates with the quality, then that is going to take quality and the story.
How many times does the income multiply when a farmer shifts from selling sherry beans to roasted beans?
I think the income multiplies 5 to 10 times because
5 to 10 times.
yes,
It's quite a good number.
it is. It is actually a good number because just like we said earlier, the cherries the fetch as low as a kilo could go for as low as 4,500 shillings to 5,000. But if you go through the painful process or the patience of having to, get the cherries, soak them in the water so that they float, then pulp them, then ferment them, then after fermenting them, dry them. From the drying processes, it is hulled, then put in the different screen sizes to come up with the grading type. At the end of it all, when you've achieved your grades, for example, double A and AB, that is for Arabica, then for Robusta is screen 18, 15, and 12, you're able to actually decide how much you give for each grade. Double A could be going for about 30,000. The AB could be going about 25. I'm just giving assumptions based on the fluctuations of the coffee on the market prices. That means you actually control the production process. So every other farmer would actually want to dream of having to process the coffee instead of just selling the ripe cherries.
So you advise farmers to go for the process rather than selling the cherry raw coffee beans.
100%, 100%. But there's a but because it is costly to be able to process that coffee. You have to buy the machines. You have to either employ people to do it. So that's why most people that do not have this kind of resources or this kind of manpower take the shortest cut out, which is just pick from the garden and hand it over.
Roughly, how much can it cost a farmer? The machines and all that.
Oh, I cannot actually estimate because it is dependent on the capacity of the production. Some farmers have small gardens, really. If you have an acre of coffee or half an acre, it would be insane for you to go and buy a pulping machine or a huller or these machines that are used for, processing coffee. So one, you need to first gauge what are you producing, what's the size or your capacity. If you have 10 acres, yeah, I would recommend because during the harvest, there's definitely something that can come out of the 10 acres, a lot of it. So that means you have to buy yourself those machineries. So minimum, it's just an estimate. You should be having about 50 million plus.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
For the whole production process to be, yes.
Coffee farming is not for the weak.
It is not for the weak. Yeah, it is not for the weak.
You've been mentioning these terms, double A. Can you break them down for us to understand what exactly they represent?
Okay, so these are the coffee grades.
Coffee grades.
Coffee grades, and there are screens that they're subjected to in terms of grading them. So basically, the sizes of the beans. For example, Arabica, we have double A, which is AA, and AB. Then also we have CPBs, and the rest is probably considered undergrades.
It's a coffee language.
Yes, the rest is yeah. So it's basically the size of the beans. Yeah.
The size of the
Double A
beans.
is big. AB is a mixture of double A, I mean of A and B. So the sizes are a little smaller. Then CPB is an interesting type of the coffee. When coffee is growing in the cherry, or when it's being removed from the cherry, it's a whole big pod. But when you crack it open, uh, you get two beans in the pod. Yeah, that is ideally what is expected. But then there are scenarios where instead of two beans in the pod, it's just one whole bean that kind of grows to take 3.5 aspect of the coffee. So those ones are called CPBs, and there are not so many of them, but they are preferred. They're loved so much because they literally have so much nutrients. Because imagine instead of two beans comes one bean. So that means this one bean is kind of taking up the position for the second bean. So that means they're very rich in nutrients, the taste and uh, the fragrance and all these things. So people should look out for CPBs in case they want to test something to do with coffee. They're not usually in large quantities, but during the grading processes, they are also graded. And sometimes they cost more than AB and double A. Yeah.
How does value addition change who controls the coffee business in the aspect of the farmers versus the middlemen
Yeah.
and plus the exporters?
I think the value addition bit shifts the control of the process from the middlemen and prior the exporters to the farmer. If the farmer decides and they are ready and they're able to amass all the resources it takes to be able to do the value addition, they will shift the power that has been taken by the middlemen and the rest of the guys that are involved in the supply chain of coffee, and they will take it to themselves. That means they've taken over the whole process of having someone have to come and pick the coffee from them, buy, and directly they can deal with their sellers. Yeah.
With climate change and price volatility, um, is value addition and now is value addition now a nice to have or a must have for survival?
Well, value addition is now mandatory for survival for most of the small and medium coffee processing companies uh, or farmers, facing the climate and all these price shifts. But still, it's optional for large scale farmers or coffee producers in the different regions.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you've heard of some projects like Inspire Africa Coffee.
Yeah.
How has this contributed to Uganda's value addition in the coffee sector?
Yeah, speaking of Inspire Africa Coffee, I think I have interfaced with them earlier than when this whole project of theirs started. We're kind of doing a B2B. We used to roast coffee from their facility. They had a good facility where coffee was being roasted. They also came up with projects like, I think, uh, teaching people to drink coffee, quite a number of them. But some of them were just activities that would lead to awareness and lead to value addition. So how has it contributed to Uganda's value addition in the coffee sector? I think they've promoted awareness. They've promoted awareness about coffee. People did not know about coffee that, as Ugandans, most of the coffee is produced and being exported. So now maybe due to the campaigns that they have had, some people are able to, also walk to a coffee place and just, pick a cup of coffee and take. Yeah. So that is not directly affecting the value addition, but it's an activity that leads to value addition. Yeah. So I think that's what they have done in the coffee sector.
Mainly awareness.
Awareness. Then with their recent facility, I don't really have much information, but all I know is that they're doing processing. They're going to come up with processing of coffee. That means we'll have instant coffee coming in from them, different types of coffee. So I think that's also an addition. I think it's an addition that instead of us having the big brands that have been dominating the coffee industry coming in from Brazil and different parts of the world into the shelves that we have in the stores or outlets here in Uganda, we should also be having the likes of Inspire Africa Coffee, on the shelves. Someone can walk in there and say, "Oh, this is Ugandan and it's proudly Ugandan." And if the product is augmented or the quality is good, it's definitely not going to only sell here but also out there. It's going to be a big thing. Yeah, so I think that is the real contribution they have in the value addition. Yes.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor having you on the show.
Yeah.
And before we wrap it up, I want your closing remarks and also tell us more about African Blends Coffee, where you're located, and mainly what you do in the coffee sector.
Okay, so I think I'll start by talking a little bit about African blends, then I can close with the remarks. So African Blends Coffee is been in operation for it's over 5 years now. And as I said earlier, we do source coffee from different places or different parts of the country, majorly Arabica coffee, and we process it, and some of it is hand-picked from different places to ensure that the quality is actually guaranteed. And that's one of the strengths that we use, that we're going to give you a product that is that you can guarantee the quality. At the end of the day, in the entrepreneurial term, it's called product augmentation or marketing. You just make sure your product is up to what the client wants, and it will market itself. We're not going to run around trying to do a lot of explaining. So as African Blends Coffee, we are doing product augmentation, and we're trying to ensure that the quality of the coffee that we produce or process is guaranteed, so that whoever is going to consume it will be able to refer their friends, their family, or any other business to be able to come enjoy the coffee. So that is it a little bit about African Blends Coffee. Final remarks. I love to say that the world is waiting for Ugandan coffee, our coffee. We have been in the shelf for a very long time, yet what we are hiding is actually a huge, huge, huge thing. And we're blessed by the fertile soils. I usually interface with people from different countries, and they envy Uganda. They keep telling me that, what, whatever thing you throw in the soils of Uganda grows, which is not the case elsewhere, in the world. So I want us as Ugandans to embrace agriculture, but also organize ourselves to be able to be out there, yeah, because we have a good product. That is one key thing that would market us out there. So let's not sit on the good product and the good things that we have in this country. Thank you so much.
Indeed.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, you can share your location and your contacts.
Oh yeah, we're located in Komamboga Chanja, just it should be about 15 minutes or 10 minutes away from the CBD, not far from the Central Business District. So that is where we are situated, and we are on social media, on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and we also do have our website, which is www.africanblendscoffee. And in case you want to find our contacts, just go to our website and also visit our social media signals, where you get the contacts that you will be able to directly access us, and we'll be able to serve you in a way that you'd want to be served. Thank you.
To our viewers, they will explain more about African Blends Coffee, the products that you make. You can take us through.
All right, so what we have here, we have about 3 packs of coffee. Okay. This one is a 1 kilo pack. As you can see, it has details of the coffee that is packaged in here. So this is a medium roast coffee beans. We also do medium roast that is ground, but these are beans. Usually, most of the clients, which happen to be, hotels, restaurants, and coffee shops, prefer the beans because they have the machines and the grinders to be able to grind it. So this is a 1 kilo pack. It is house blend, medium roast Arabica coffee, and it is the AB type. So in case you're interested in it, this is how it looks. Then we also have a pack that is over 250 grams right here. Still the same constituents. It's AB, it's medium roast, it's Arabica, and it goes for 16,000 shillings only. I forgot to tell you how much the 1 kilo goes for. It's actually 45,000 shillings. Then we also have another pack right here. It is 500. Still the same quality, the same type of coffee. So at the moment we have 3 packs: the 1 kilo, the 500 pack, and the 250 grams pack. So the 500 pack goes for 28,000 shillings, which is quite affordable. So if you're buying for home consumption, it should be taking you for some considerable period of time. Yeah, as you wait for the next pack to come. But also for purposes of enjoying the test, make sure it doesn't take so long in the shelves. And that's our strength. We make sure the coffee takes the shortest time possible in the shelf so that you're able to enjoy it. Because when it takes longer, it's going to lose taste, it's going to lose the fragrance, the aroma, all these things that make coffee fresh will go away. So we recommend that as soon as you're done with the first pack, get another one so that you keep enjoying the coffee. Yes.
I'm loving the aroma already, and I should take one with me.
Please.
Thank you so much for sharing. It's been really amazing having you on the Uganda Parliamentary Coffee Forum.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pay you a visit in the coming days.
We can't wait. We can't wait to have you visit us.
All right. Thank you so much for being part of the show from the beginning to the very end. Remember, you can follow us on Facebook, on TikTok, and YouTube. Yeah, catch the show every single Thursday as we bring you different guests. The coffee chain is a long one and provides numerous opportunities, as Mr. Eric has shared. I'm your host, Emma Mnyangeri. Until we meet again, bye-bye.